The new Battleground PvP map just came into Diablo Immortal, and of course I was yesterday on the stream just trying to test it out, trying to see the new features, everything that changes, and I'm gonna compile everything here just for you in a very quick manner. The basics, rules, quick guides, quick tips, what are the strongest classes, and everything that you want to know. But what you also want to know is that now we have new codes coming into the game. If you guys can now see on the screen, you guys have the Omen of Plenty, which is gonna give you a legendary crest. Then we have the Reading Wilds. This one, it is okay. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? And if you guys are on iOS, please go to diabloimmortalredeem.com and you guys can go select your server, put your player ID, submit the code, and enjoy your freebies. So let's dive into the guide. When it comes to the basic rules, well, they are very simple. Both teams have to defend the idol. That's one of the biggest changes that you guys can see here on the screen. In one side here we are pushing, and on the other side the other team is trying to push, so you kind of have to try to split both teams to defend and attack at the same time. And if you manage to reach and push the idol towards their ancient art or the Nexus, if you play League of Legends, you're gonna win the game. But there are also other ways that you can win the match. If the time runs out and your team has more checkpoints, you will also win the game. So if we go here and we check it out on the left corner, we see here 3 checkpoints and the ancient art, and you see both bars, one from the red team, which is like the enemy team, and the blue one is going to be yours. Here's the timer. If by the end of this time, as long as you have more checkpoints than the other team, you're gonna win. But if both teams have the same checkpoints, you're now gonna enter in something that is called the sudden death. If you are in the sudden death mode, all the players are gonna start taking a lot of damage, 25% more damage, and also use their remaining life to engage in combat. So please have in mind that it gets like really hard whenever this happens. And obviously at this stage, the first team to push to the next point, to the next checkpoint, will win the game. And that's pretty much how it works when it comes to the basic rules of this map. Now, moving on into like a small guide and tips that I learned along the way. Well, if you guys can see here, the strongest classes that I found out, it was Barbarian, Crusader, the Golem Necro, and the Wizard. These are very strong because they are all very idol-centric classes. They always play around the idol. They are very strong when it comes to it. If you guys see, 3 of them at least are very tanky. And the Wizard, it is always a class that is incredible support, a lot of CC. They can hold the idol area very strongly. So for that, I also put it here because sometimes it was almost impossible to keep pushing the idol whenever they were there. The other thing is that you can now also use teleports. These teleports are gonna be in the corners of the map. And if you see right here, I was in the fight, I was defending, but then I realized that my team was pushing at the same time. So you can actually heal yourself by disengaging like it happened on the other map, but then use the ancient portal, you go to the other side, and now you're gonna see me trying to engage, trying to get like all these backliners and trying to get into the idol. These teleports are really good. They actually can become a game changer when it comes to change the pace of the map for you to go and defend very quickly or go and attack very quickly. So use these teleports. There are 2 on each side of the map, right next to the spawns on your left or on the right side, and they do like this diagonal. Don't go thinking that you're gonna teleport like to the same side of the map, because you are not. The other thing, it is there are multiple healing orb spots, 2 near each base. So you see this one here is like right at the entrance once you leave the spawn, and then you're gonna have like 2 others in the middle of the map on the other side. So if you're gonna see here, I'm just gonna push this further. There is like this thing that you can go here on top. There is some stairs. You can have another healing orb, and on the other side of the map, because again it is symmetrical, you're gonna be able to find the other healing orb. You can take advantage from these. Also, these sides here, like these platforms, are very good to disengage and sometimes going and healing yourself. Also, if you are a range class, it is very strong. Like you can have like a demon hunter do a lot of damage from here, or a wizard or something like that. So be careful, because sometimes you can get a lot of damage from this. Now, the other tip, it is to always be paying attention to your mini map. This one, it is a golden rule in PvP, already was in the past, but even more here on this new map, because in the past you only need to think about like, oh, I'm defending, I only need to see where the attackers are coming into my idol, so I'm gonna position each lanes depending on the numbers and all these things. But now you have so many more things to actually be concerned. You have to be attacking, you have to be defending, and you also have to take care of the boss. So make sure that you always have an eye on the mini map on the top right corner to see where the people are positioning, to see if your idol has a lot of people defending, or if it's not, if it only has like one enemy pushing. There is so much more complexity on this battleground mode that it is way better in my opinion. So keep an eye on your mini map. It is very important. The other thing, always be attacking and defending. Well, that's the thing. Now you have to do both, so you always have to be managing. Even if you are a Crusader, sometimes you're gonna have to go and defend, sometimes you have to go and try to push the idol. You have to be very flexible when it comes to your role, and you have to pay attention to the dynamics of the map itself. Now we have here for the final one, well, try to focus on the middle boss, because it is really powerful. It's gonna give you a huge boost to your team. One of them, if you see here my character in the middle, you see that I have like these 3 golden head statues. It means like per each it's gonna give me 1 revive, which means that even if I die, I will instant revive into my base without having any cooldown, so I can get inside of the game really fast, and this just advances a lot the tempo that you can get. The other one, it is also super powerful. This is the boss that's gonna appear whenever you enter in the sudden death phase, the last one, whenever nobody actually got the idol towards the ancient art. And this boss, it is super strong. What does it give? It gives you an instant kill. So if your enemy gets below 20%, it gets one-shotted. There is no savior, there is no gladiator, there is nothing that's gonna save. It's gonna go instantly to the base, and then you just can push the idols in a much easier way. So pay attention for these buffs. These are very strong. So these are the tips that I found out in the first 3 hours of the battleground. I feel like for the future we can find and refine better strategies. So the final question is this map better than the old one or not? So here you find the pros and cons list of like the new map versus the old map. In my opinion, I think that this new map, it is so much better than the old one, but there is still always some cons. The first one, that was like the thing that I kind of didn't want, is like it is the same game mode, like pushing the idol, so I always thought that it was gonna have the same problems, or they would actually amplify the problems that we already have on the old map. And I think that's happening because now we have an even bigger focus around the idol play. Everything is around the idol, either you're defending, either you're attacking. So you have to play a class that has to play very well around the idol, otherwise you're just not doing anything. The map, it is slightly smaller, so even though I like it because it's very chaotic, I know that there are a few classes that they don't have like enough mobility to run away. For example, Blood Knight, the Tempest, and all these things, like they kind of need like a bit more space. So if it was bigger, probably was gonna be better for them. At the end, tanky classes in general, from what I found out, are stronger than everything else. And I mean, like, this was already true in the other one, but this, it feels like it's like amplified the importance of like these tanky classes. So if you guys have any more cons that you guys found out comparative to the previous one, let me know. But let's talk about the good stuff, because I like to end things on a good note. What is the pros. No choke points. How many games did you guys couldn't even leave the base because you had like 2 or 3 wizards just spamming the stairs with those arcane winds? You had like everyone just there, like kind of hunting you down like a dog. It was like so bad. I am so glad that we don't have choke points anymore. It is so much better. It is an open space. I love it. There's no more like very tiny lanes and all these things. It's just like a big open space. Yes, there are some walls and these things, but in general, I just prefer it. The other one, it is way faster pace. What do you mean by this? You're always on the fight. You leave the base and you can like instantly be fighting, or you take the teleport, you go into the fight. So there is a very less downtime, and I actually love it. And because there are like so much action like happening all the time, the duration of the matches are also shorter. So you don't actually have to stay like 8 minutes like waiting for like the 65 kills to actually appear. No. Now most matches were around like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Sometimes you have longer ones because things are more equal, and that's fine, but they will end up in a good way. I just love it. I love it. Bosses in the middle, I think just adds a flair because you have another third thing that is very powerful and almost as important as the idol, but your team will have to find the time to actually go and focus on the third objective to try to capture, to then helping you to get your team. It works really well in League of Legends, and I think that here also works really well. It just adds an extra element. So I feel like the complexity on this map, it is way higher than the other one. Then we have the buffs. Again, you kill the boss, you get the buffs. I think the buffs are super cool because it can literally just change the game like that if you steal the buff. It literally happened to me yesterday. I had like a really good session. I think I went like 16 wins, like 1 loss. It was awesome. The other one, it is the map layout. I really like the walls and the platforms on the side. I know that maybe a few people don't like it, but the first time I played that map, there was nothing like that. It was like completely flat. We had like already the diamond shape of the map, but itself, it was like there was nothing. And now I'm seeing the final version, and I have to give a big thumbs up because like the version that I saw before, I got me a bit like scared. Now there is actually some walls in the middle, like around the boss. People have to go around. They can defend themselves. I think that also is better for a few range classes. So I really like it. The teleports, well, the teleports on each side, really good. Instant mobility, you can actually go and shift the momentum of the fight. I love it. And the healing spawn, well, this is a really awesome thing because back in the day, even if you ran to your base, there was nothing there. You had to wait for the bandage, and then sometimes you were bandaging, and then you have like a dot or something that's going to interrupt your bandage. Then you cannot go into the fight, and you're just like standing on the spawn like a loser. So healing at the spawn, love it. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I catch you guys on live stream. Peace.